Greetings, Valparaiso. This is Ken the Metal Professor, and you are listening to WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. You may have been expecting a slightly different intro there. Normally at 8 o'clock, I hit the intro for Mostly Metal, and then everybody gets aggravated with the terrible music I'm playing and changes the channel right afterwards. But tonight we're doing something a little bit different. The portion of the show called the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, which normally starts at the end of the 2-hour block, we're going to do it at the beginning tonight for a couple of reasons. One, I'm so excited to have Crimson Dynamo in the studio. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Everything's all comfortable and sounds good through the headphones and all that?
Everything sounds fine.
Okay. So not only was he so excited to be here, he got here right at the start of the show, but I've also learned that I'm sure due to a very, very heavy training regimen, you need to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, something like that, to start those push-ups and things like that. So
got to get in shape for the next show.
There we go. So we're turning things around so that we can talk about what you have coming up soon and going on in the long term. Early in the show instead of later, and then you're welcome to stick around as much as you want after we're done. I have some fun with the song titles planned out. So for the Mostly Metal portion of this show, I have an entire playlist full of songs that either have Crimson or Dragon in the title.
Oh, I like that.
And that stretches out for like 90 minutes worth of stuff. In fact, I'm going to play. I should have played this when I first introduced you, just because it's very quick. But here's a little piece called "March of the Red Dragon," which is close to Crimson, and it's by a band called Ice Age. There you go. It's like a minute of this. It sounds like it's going to get really exciting. And then there's like 20 more seconds of that. But that was as close as I came to actually music that was about a Crimson Dragon. But if you need some classy entrance music, maybe that would work. I don't know. What do you use for your entrance music?
I use You Got Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
I should have remembered that because I've seen you in action enough. I actually have that song at home. I should have put that into the playlist. But then it wouldn't have fit the theme of Crimson or Dragon.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
That would have bugged me.
Mine and Jared Kripke's song is actually called I Am Dragon. And it's a theme song from Iron Fist, actually.
The Netflix
TV show, yeah.
Iron Fist? Okay. I just watched that like a month ago. And I'm sad to report to you that I don't know that I didn't make the connection. I guess I hadn't heard that song enough times.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Jared Kripke, and so folks know kind of the story behind that. You are the Crimson Dragon, and you appear in different feds around here, but very often you are two and not one, in which case you are the Crimson Dragons.
Yes.
And Jared is your partner in that.
Yes, he is.
So how often do you guys do it that way? How often can you put up with him and have him be your partner?
He's a very fun-loving guy. I love Jared as like a brother. Me and him has been teaming up for a year at a fed called New Era Wrestling down in Shelbyville.
Okay.
That's a lot of fun. We've been tag champs for over a year, lost them to Gingerverse, and then we just got them back. So right after.
Good. Shelbyville is probably about 3 hours from here,
Something
south of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And I'm testing myself. Gingerverse is Jacob Braun, and is that right?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, and do you know remember the other one?
No.
Okay, but they both have like red hair, beards, and thus Gingerverse, right? So.
Yep.
So I see you mostly in ACW.
Yes.
Acme Championship Wrestling, and they are sort of having an intermission, I guess, for the summer until August when they come back. But there was a lot of shows, kind of one after the other, for a month or a month and a half. As that ran down, did you find that exhausting, or was that fun?
Very exhausting.
Because weren't there 2 weekends in a row when, let's see, there's or 2 times when there were shows 2 weekends in a row. There was like
Yeah.
a Friday, then a Friday, and then a couple of weeks off, and then a Friday and a Friday. And the shows are for good causes because they're usually fundraisers,
Yeah,
right? But
a
that's
lot
got to
of-
be tiring.
A lot of Friday shows just wear us out because most people have to come straight from work to the show and then wrestle and then go home, and a lot of them live like an hour away or so, and it's very exhausting for a lot of us.
And if folks turn around and then have another show on Saturday, that's got to be even worse.
Oh yeah, like normally NGW is the show right after,
Uh-huh.
so very exhausting.
Did you have to do that in any of the last couple of rounds? Last couple
No,
of
I
weekends?
haven't been to NGW for a while.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
What-
I am trying to get back to it,
Okay.
but they haven't had anything for me yet.
Ah, too bad. Well, I've been to a couple of their shows, and I've really had a good time while I'm there. It's a long drive, but I do plan on going back, so I'll put in a good word for you.
Okay.
Not that they're going to listen to me. I don't know why they would, but so anyway, ACW. Do you have a title history there? If I remember right, did you have the Tough Man title? For
I
a
did
while?
have the Tough Man
until
title.
that Cliff Caviar guy. Is he the one that?
Yeah,
got it?
Cliff Caviar, man.
So what's up with him?
He's just a big pain in my butt. Every time I post something on social media, the guy comments talking crap. It's bad enough he took my belt. Did you see how I lost the belt to him?
I probably did, but I don't remember.
He dressed up as me
Okay,
in
I do remember that.
a blue set of my version called Blue Dynamo.
Okay, yep, that's coming back to me now.
And at the end, I was going to go for the Dynamo Punch. TK0 came out, interrupted me, tried to take me out, distract me. As soon as I turned around, Blue Dynamo, Cliff, low-blowed me, went outside, grabbed brass knuckles. Dynamo punched me with the brass knuckles. And then after he beat me, unmasked, of course, he picked me up, kicked me into privates again, and hit me with his knee finisher. So,
Do you have plans to kind of go back at him and try to regain that title, or do you have your sights on other prizes in ACW?
it would be nice to win the Tough Man title again. I might go after the new champ, Johnny Nye. Me and him's like best friends and stuff. But it would be nice to have that ECW championship.
Now, I do notice you're wearing a Drexo Gel Manchester Hooligan shirt.
Yes, I am.
Is that because, is that a little thumb in the eye now that
No.
he's lost the title? Or
No, me and Drex have a lot of respect for each other
Sure.
after our little feud for the Tough Man title when I beat him for it. We don't see eye to eye, but we do have a lot of respect for each other.
That's good. And he puts on a mean front, but I know with some of the words he said at the end of the last show when he did lose the title to Johnny Nye, that somewhere down inside him in that tough exterior, there's a little bit of softness poking around, I think.
There's a lot of softness in him.
Yeah. Now, speaking of title defenses, coming up, or not, well, title defense for somebody, title matches, let's say. I don't want to promote you just yet. You are working at Backbreaker Wrestling.
Yes.
This coming Saturday?
This Saturday, June 16th, at the FamFest Festival up
And-
in Hobart.
Oh, right. And that's at the Cornerstone Community Church, which I've driven back and forth between here and Merrillville umpteen times on Route 30. And when I saw the posters for the show that they were going to be at the FamFest at the Cornerstone Community Church rather than the St. Mary's venue where the last couple of Backbreaker shows were, it didn't click that this was this gigantic church that's right there on Route 30. Until just a couple of weeks ago, I was driving past and I went, oh, now I know where that place is, which is nice because it's actually very close to Valpo. So I'm going to encourage lots of Valpo folks to try to make it out to that, if at all possible. But this is so it's kind of a big church, community Cornerstone Church event, family event, bouncy houses and games and food and stuff like that. And the wrestling
a lot of
program is part of that larger event.
Yes, it is.
Do you have any other information? Just happen to know anything about other things that are going on at the event? Not necessarily the matches of the card, but just.
I think I heard something about a cow being there.
Okay, well, it is Indiana.
Yes.
So that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Something about Chuck E. Cheese doing something with them too. I
Okay.
heard.
Okay.
Like you said, you basically covered it for me.
Yeah, and it'll be like a real mini popcorn festival, I suppose. Those things are usually pretty fun. There's always something for everybody there. The bell time for the wrestling card is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is good because that gives us all time to get home and watch NXT Takeover, or go to there. If I don't know if you have any plans to head to Chicago really fast after. No, that's too bad. But anyway, the wrestling card is. I don't think it has a title. The last Backbreaker card was called On the Ropes. This is just Backbreaker at FamFest, I think. I don't think there's a subtitle to that.
Yeah.
But there are a few matches that, before we started talking on the air, you and I put our heads together, and I knew a couple and you knew a couple more, so we'll run them down specifically. But the high-profile match is a title match, featuring yours truly. So tell me about that. How did you get into that position to be able to challenge for the title there?
It's my big debut back. The last time you seen me, it was me and Jared Kripke doing the Crimson Dragons against Dave Allen and Xavier Black. And I'm pretty sure that's just why I'm in the title picture. Is it's my big debut back to Backbreaker, my first singles match at Backbreaker. And it was a big shock for me, too. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait to hold that Backbreaker title, though. It looks really, really nice. Can't wait to wear it around my waist.
I'm pretty sure it will look better with your colors than that green stuff.
Yeah, that green stuff looks terrible.
So the current champion is Shooter McGavin, and there were all sorts of shenanigans going on at the last show when he managed to take that. And I've actually got a couple of clips of Cade Lee and Kurt Joseph going back and forth about Kurt Joseph's role in that, and I'll play those in just a couple of minutes here. But so you have the chance to win the Backbreaker title.
Yes.
Have you been doing anything particular in terms of getting ready? What is what's a normal week for Crimson Dragon in terms of training and getting ready for matches?
Not Crimson Dragon, Crimson Dynamo.
Crimson Dynamo, sorry.
It's okay. Normal week. Wake up, work out a little bit. Watch wrestling on YouTube a lot. That's basically it. Listen to music to get me pumped.
Okay, now I have to just back up a second. I'm totally embarrassed now. How many times have I said Crimson Dragon?
Pretty much all of them now. A little bit.
Okay, I think so. And obviously, I had that in my head when I was making the playlist. And so, why was I thinking Crimson? Is it because the tag team is Crimson Dragons plural?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what was confusing me. So it's not Crimson Dragon, and I knew that. What was I doing?
I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you corrected me, because now I feel like a total dork.
It's fine.
Well, but honestly, it should be Crimson Dynamos then when you're a tag team,
yes.
And then there would be no confusion whatsoever.
Then there wouldn't be any confusion.
So yeah, talk to Jared about that.
I will.
There, but then the playlist still makes sense that I made up, because it does have Crimson, and you are part of the Crimson Dragons when you're in a tag team. So I don't feel terrible about it. But anyway, I am glad you corrected me there. So anyway, the title match between Crimson Dynamo and Shooter McGavin.
Yes.
Will headline that. Will that be the headlining match? Do you think?
I hope so.
Sure.
I don't know. I would let Top Guns be main. They're really good. I like their stuff.
They seem to be very popular.
Yes, they are very popular.
And let's see. You also mentioned Xavier Black versus Vic Capri.
Yes.
Now I've been watching Xavier Black, and as much as I hate to say it, he's very impressive.
Yes, he is.
Everywhere I've seen him. And I had not seen Vic Capri until the last Backbreaker show, which was a couple of months ago, and he was an impressive guy as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. You want to pick a winner between those two?
I've never seen Vic Capri wrestle,
okay.
But I heard he's really, really good. He's been in for a long time. And I don't really like Xavier anyway. I'm going to go with Vic Capri.
Okay. We'll put that down. Also, we'll have Kurt Joseph, and he's taking on Trog, the caveman, if I've got that right. Because Trog was about to win the title during the last show, and Kurt Joseph interfered and caused a mess. And now Shooter McGavin has the title for now until you
you take
it from him. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna, as long as my computer is, if I can get my computer back up here. It's been sitting here so long that I've got to type in my password again. But I'm going to try my best here, as long as everything's working, to play a couple of Facebook audio segments that first came from Cade Lee explaining why he was making a match with Kurt Joseph at FamFest, and then a response from Kurt Joseph about that. So here is from a Facebook post that Cade Lee, the owner, manager, head honcho, all those things of Backbreaker Wrestling, he put that up there to explain some things.
Hey, how you guys doing? I've been going over the emails and fan responses from On the Ropes. I just wanted to say again, you guys are awesome. Thank you for coming out and supporting us. We appreciate it. I have a lot of questions coming in about Shooter McGavin as the Backbreaker Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And guys, it sticks. Elimination for the match was over the top rope, and so there is no DQ in that kind of match. Which brings me to Kurt Joseph. Kurt Joseph, I understand you wanted to come back out and help your buddy Shooter McGavin when Trog was about to eliminate him. I understand you're a giving guy. I'm a giving guy too. So what I'm going to do on June 16th when Cornerstone Community Church presents Backbreaker Wrestling at FanFest is I'm going to give you a match. And I'm going to give Trog a little shot at justice. Because, Kurt, you're going one-on-one with Trog. And Shooter, I'm giving you your first heavyweight title defense. See you guys in June.
And so the first title defense that Shooter McGavin has is against you.
Yes.
Congratulations. And then there's this other match that's now set because of the shenanigans that went on the last time surrounding it was a 6-man, what was it called? A 6-man over the top scramble kind of thing, where it was basically an elimination match, and the last man standing was the new and first Backbreaker heavyweight champion, and Shooter McGavin won. And so that was Cade Lee expressing his thoughts about that. And then here is Kurt Joseph with what he had to say back towards Cade Lee.
Hello again. It has come to my attention that Backbreaker Wrestling's owner, Cade Lee, has labeled me somebody that needs to be punished. Apparently, a large amount of the audience did not appreciate the selfless act of mine in preventing Trog the Caveman from being announced the first ever Backbreaker Wrestling heavyweight champion. And while I don't understand their upset sort of attitude when it comes to this action, I need to make something clear. A caveman belongs nowhere near a wrestling ring. A caveman belongs nowhere near civilized people. A caveman belongs in a cave. And for any of you that think that at FamFest Trog the Caveman will get his dose of justice and bring me down, rest assured that I and Shooter McGavin are very talented professional wrestlers, not animals. And I will prove to all of you what I already know. That I am the savior of Backbreaker Wrestling. Think of the humiliation that would have followed if Trog the Caveman were announced as the first ever Backbreaker Wrestling heavyweight champion. Think of the humiliation that would have followed when several of your wrestlers in your roster would have walked out on the show. Think about that, Mr. Lee. Think about that after I hold my arm high after beating Trog the Caveman this month at FamFest. And for the rest of you, enjoy the show. Have a wonderful day.
So for the record, that music was put there by him, not me. And the visual, have you seen this? this particular clip on Facebook yet?
I have not.
Okay, I don't think it's been there that long, and you have to imagine the setting. So Kurt Joseph is sitting in a nice, sunny, enclosed veranda with his maybe in some kind of argyle sweater with the sleeves draped across the front of his neck, over his shoulders, sipping maybe champagne or mimosas or something at the table while he's talking. So he clearly thinks well of his place in the wrestling world. Have you ever had a match with Trog the Caveman? Have you ever encountered him in any setting yet?
No, I have not. Though I was on the first Backbreaker show, and me and Kripke did face Shooter McGavver and Kurt Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And after the match, they thought it would be fun to repeatedly stomp on me and Kripke. So I'm looking forward to this match.
So I'm guessing you are pulling for Trog the Caveman.
Yes, I am.
You have him put a little extra oomph in the little club or chicken leg or whatever it is that he's going to hit him over the head with. That's good. Do you have any plans? You win the Backbreaker title. Do you have any plans to maybe have an open challenge? Is there anybody you would like to face after winning it?
Well, that's pretty much what I did with the Tough Man title. It was basically all open challenges, so I would probably do the same thing at Backbreaker. Open challenge, anyone would like to challenge me, they have the opportunity. I'm all about opportunities. But one guy I would like to face, I've known for a while, is Motley, Johnny Motley.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of respect for him. I would love to have a match with him.
And that's another match that's going to be on this card, is he's facing Dick Davis, I believe.
Yes.
And is there a stipulation on that? Do you happen to know?
It's an I Quit match.
Ah, that's right. So that should be pretty fun too. Fun might be the wrong word. Intense.
And yes, very.
Intense is probably a better word. So generic questions time.
Okay.
How long have you been doing this? We've talked about what you've got going on now. How long have you been working in wrestling?
About 3 years now. A little over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
My first match was Jared Kripke.
Uh-huh.
It's been 3 years.
Okay. Which promotion did you start with?
ACW.
Okay.
Acme Championship Wrestling.
All right. So are they kind of home for you at this point?
Yes, they're my home fed.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Everybody I've met associated with that fed has been terrific. So that's a good one to call home. And what made you decide that you were going to let people beat you up for a living, or at least try?
Yeah, try. Like ever since I was 6 years old, this is what I wanted to do. The very first match I've ever seen was Jeff Hardy and Umaga for the IC belt when Jeff Hardy had it, and it was like Hardy just throwing himself all over the place, jumping on Umaga off the semi-trailer.
Mm-hmm.
A little exciting. A big inspiration for me, it was the Undertaker.
Okay.
I've always been a fan of the Undertaker. Guys like Triple H, Edge, Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
I wear a mask.
Uh-huh.
A lot of those guys really is what did it in for me to become a wrestler.
Have you had good support from people around you, like family or friends or whatever the case may be?
They've all been supportive.
Nobody looked at you and said, "What are you thinking?"
No. Well, my mom did that at first.
Oh, sure.
My first day of practice, I came home. I had a giant black and bruise mark right on my back, and
did Drex do that to you?
yes. No. It was a lot of them. Roach, my trainer, he's been a big help for me. Another reason why I wear a mask. Yeah, my parents, my whole family, my friends, they've all been really supportive.
That's good. Have you noticed in your kind of skills and abilities anything that's you expect? You've been doing this for 3 years. You said your first match was against Jared Kripke, and obviously you would expect improvement along the way as you practice and work more and more and more. Is there anything that really stands out to you as something that is has really accelerated for you, or something that you're particularly proud of in terms of your development?
Yeah, I've have gotten a lot better over the course of my time. Like my first match was only 5 minutes because I was too cocky in the ring, and like that was my big problem, was being too cocky and everything. But like also like the fans are really important too. Learning that, how to work with the fans, going out there during a mission and meeting them and everything, and talking to them about wrestling is really great. That's pretty much it about that.
Okay. And so let's kind of go over what's coming up this weekend one more time, so everybody knows to go. And this to stress to the folks that are in Valpo that might be listening, this is WVLP, and the FM is 103.1 FM. It's low power FM, and so the signal kind of over the air that you listen to on your car doesn't get that far. It gets to the city limits and outwards, and after that you go to WVLP.org, and then you can listen from anywhere because it's always streaming. The Cornerstone Church is close enough to Valpo that it might actually be within the broadcast radius of this station, which would be pretty impressive if it is. It's that close. So people in Valpo, if you've ever thought about going to one of these shows, this one's super close. You just go out onto, I'm going to have to put a footnote on this in a minute, but you go out onto Route 30 and head towards Merrillville, and you'll get to the intersection of 30 and 51, and it's the big church that's right there. There's going to be a big festival set up, so if you're the only one in your family, like in mine, where you're solo in terms of your interest in wrestling, you could bring everybody else, and they'll have something to do while you're being silly. It'll be a good way to check things out. Hopefully the weather's going to hold. So the matches we've already talked about at this Fam Fest for Backbreaker Wrestling are title match between Crimson Dynamo and Shooter McGavin, and a match between Kurt Joseph and Trog the Caveman that was set by Cade Lee, the owner, after interference by Kurt Joseph when Trog was about to win the title. And then we got Xavier Black versus Vic Capri, whose nickname I think is the Ice Pick. The Ice Pick Vic Capri.
Pretty sure that's what you call it.
We have Johnny Motley against Dick Davis in an I Quit match.
Yes.
Or is there anything else that you know of that we're missing?
That's, as far as I know, that's all. I know there's more matches than that.
Oh, sure.
That's all I got on top of my head right now.
Okay. And the reason I put a footnote on talking about leaving from Valpo and heading east is I drove past there just yesterday, in fact, and there's a big construction project right at the intersection of 30 and 51, which actually makes it impossible to turn off of 30 onto 51 to get up to the church. And it looks like it's going to be there a while because they had the entire road destroyed. So if you are going to go, it's actually not going to be as simple as going out Route 30 and turning on 51. You'll have to find a little sneaky way to get on 51 and come down towards the church, towards Route 30 from the more proper Hobart area. But still easy to find one way or the other, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want folks to know about Crimson Dynamo in terms of coming out to see you soon, or if you are active on social media, how folks can follow you, et cetera, et cetera?
I have my own Facebook, Crimson Dynamo. You can go on there and add me as a friend if you want. That's it. Facebook's the only thing I got. No Twitter, no Instagram or anything.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in and helping promote the show and telling everybody about what you have going on. You're invited to stick around to listen to some tunes, but I know you have an early day planned tomorrow, and so the rest of the songs will be themed with either Crimson or Dragon from the tag team Crimson Dragons. And I'm going to start here with a little bit of an oddball, because the music show I do, the music part of this is called Mostly Metal, and it's mostly heavy metal, and every once in a while there's something that isn't heavy metal. So as we wind this down and take off the headphones, everybody will get to listen to Toto, and it's a song called St. George and the Dragon off of their CD Hydra. Again, thank you so much for we killed half an hour. That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
This time tends to go fast. So everybody enjoy some Toto and then a couple of metal tunes after that, and then I will talk at you again in about 15 minutes.